Hey everyone, it's Kira here, and I'm going to be showing you how to use Funimate's new depth keyframes that they've added and how to use them. So basically, these are the three I'm going to be showing: 3D depth, pixel, and scatterize. What depth does is basically shows the distance within the photo. So in editing case, it kind of highlights the foreground being the person in the image and the background, and moves the image depending on what you choose. So if it doesn't make too much sense, we'll start with 3D depth because it's the best way to explain it. So once it's applied, you can increase and decrease the depth. So because I think the foreground has been, so the foreground's been added at the moment. You can see when you increase it, the foreground stays in its position and the background moves further back, where when you decrease it, the background increases in size. Now the foreground does move a little bit, but the main middle of the screen stays in its position. Fill basically turns off the fillness of the background, so as you can see with it on, it changes the whole screen. Without, it's very minimal. Next we have camera position, which just moves the direction. So as you can see, this is what happens. It sort of extrudes depending on how much you increase the depth. So this kind of shows that the depth, when it increases, the foreground either stays in its position and the background moves back, or vice versa. That's how you use the camera position. Camera position Z is just where the camera is situated. So if you want it further back or at an angle, you can change that as to how you like. It's different to camera position because camera position is angle. Z is then again depth once again. So it is how far and how close the camera is from the actual image. Look at is then again different, moves very quickly. You can just choose it to a specific point of your scene that you would like to look at. Rotation Z spins the whole image, just like normal rotation Z. Foreground center moves the foreground like I was saying before. And you can also rotate the foreground. And same goes with the background. You can move the background and the rotation of the background. So basically, like I said at the start, depth is the distance from basically us viewing to the back of the scene, which is the background. That's how you use 3D depth. Then we have depth pixel. Now that you guys know what depth is, you can see what it does is keeps the foreground to last because that is what is closest to us in the screen. So when you increase it, the background pixelates, then the foreground. So some people like to leave it like this, so you can just see the foreground and it pixelates the background. Just like normal pixel effect, you can also increase the noise and it creates more vertical lines. When decrease, it's quite plain but smooth. There's a lot more lines. And finally, there is depth scatterize, very similar to the one we just showed. This is the back. So you can increase and decrease, so it gives that effect. Also, you can change the angle, depending on what you'd like, and you can reverse it. So just highlighting again what depth does, it shows the difference between the foreground and the background and what is closer and what you would like to be further away. Now that's how you use the depth keyframes. There are a few more options that you can release, such as depth edge, depth of field, depth of glow. They all have very similar properties, just different effects, keeping the foreground at the front or the background, up to you. Thank you for watching. Can't wait to see all your new edits with the new depth keyframes. Thanks for watching.